my child. You woke up, but you weren't in a rush. Your body was there, but your soul, it was still lying down. You stared at the ceiling for a few seconds, maybe minutes, before even thinking about getting up. And while the world outside was already following its noisy, indifferent rhythm, inside, you there stretched a silent emptiness. No one knocked on the door. No one asked if you slept well. Not even a message on your phone. The good morning you were hoping for, perhaps without even realizing it, never came. And that absence, small and almost imperceptible to others, hurt more than you imagined. But I saw it. Before you opened your eyes, I was already there, not beside the bed, nor outside the window. I was in the place no one else can enter, inside your spirit, in that secret place you yourself don't fully understand. And I saw the timid sadness that tried to hide behind habit, routine, the "it'll pass." I saw the weight in your thoughts. I saw the loneliness you don't name, but still feel. That's why I speak to you now, directly, with no intermediaries, no religion, no ceremony, using the voice of the one who knows you better than you know yourself. You're not alone. This isn't just a pretty phrase, it's an ancient truth, a promise that's never expired. You can be surrounded by people and still feel invisible, forgotten, ignored. You can smile at family lunch and still feel that no one truly sees you. I know what that's like. I know because I walk with you in all these moments. I'm not a distant God who only shows up on church days or in dramatic situations. I'm the one who wakes with you in silence and holds your soul when it screams without sound. Remember that time you cried in the bathroom so no one would see? I was there. Remember when you felt guilty for not having the strength to react, even though you should have been fine? I was there too. And even when you ignored me, forgot me, or doubted I was listening, I stayed. I never left. Have you ever wondered why you're hearing this right now? Asked yourself why this message found you at this exact moment with this specific content? It's not random. It's an answer. You've been praying with a silent heart, but I understand the silence. You've been crying out with tired eyes, and I read the soul behind them. You don't realize how far you've already come. You don't see how much you've endured. But I know. And that's why today, this very instant, I decided to remind you, there is someone who sees you from within, and that someone is me. And if no one has said this to you yet today, let me be the first. Good morning, my son. Good morning, my daughter. Heaven woke you up with care. You may not have heard trumpets or human voices, but there was spiritual movement, simply because you awakened, because your existence matters, because there are promises still active over your life, because there are purposes that haven't been canceled. And even if everything seems at a standstill, I'm working behind the scenes. Even if everything feels cold, I remain the fire that never goes out inside you. I know. You wish you could see more evidence. You wish people noticed your absence, asked how you are, cared about your silences. But you need to know, the value of your life doesn't depend on others' perception. Your value comes from the one who created you. And I created you with love, intention, and destiny. I do not make mistakes in choosing, and I chose you. I chose you even knowing everything, knowing your falls, your doubts, your escapes, the times you wanted to give up, the harsh words you thought, the dreams you abandoned. I chose you knowing what's yet to happen. And still I continue to say, you are worth it. You are loved. You are seen. You are upheld, even when you feel like you're falling. Don't ignore this call anymore. Don't pretend everything's okay when I know it's not. I don't want masks. I want you, just as you are right now. Fragile, confused, tired, but still breathing. And that alone proves I'm still here. Because if I'd given up on you, you wouldn't even have woken up today. Waking up is a sign your purpose is still active. It's proof heaven hasn't abandoned you. It's a new invitation to walk with me, even if your steps are slow. Today, before you get lost in the world's demands, listen to me. Take a few minutes, not just to pray out of obligation, but to open your heart. Talk to me like you'd talk to a friend, a father, a refuge, because I am all of that to you, even if you've forgotten. Now close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, and allow this truth to move from your ears down into your chest. You are not alone, and you never will be. Today your God, chose to start your day this way, because you need to remember, the presence that matters most has never left you. Take this moment just to breathe and remember who is walking with you. You've been carrying more than you should, and for longer than you realize. Some burdens you've learned to hide so well that you no longer notice how much they exhaust you. There are old pains you haven't spoken of in years. There are names you tried to forgive, but inside, the wounds still bleed. Unresolved situations you locked away in some corner of your soul, hoping time would erase them. But time doesn't heal what isn't touched. And I see the wounds that remain open, even behind the smiles you learned to wear. Some days the past comes knocking without permission. It arrives with memories, scents, songs, random words. And when it does, it destabilizes everything inside you. You try to pretend you don't feel it, but I see when your eyes go blank for a few seconds. I know exactly when your mind drifts to that place where the pain still speaks louder. And that's where I want to enter today, because you weren't made to keep running from yourself. Do you really think you're alone in those memories? Think I didn't see what happened to you? Think I didn't feel what you felt when you were ignored, betrayed, belittled, forgotten? I saw it. Every tear you shed in silence, I collected them. Every word you swallowed so you wouldn't cause conflict, I heard it. And even when you thought about giving up, I put myself between you and the abyss. You didn't realize it, but there were nights when invisible forces tried to knock you down for good. And it was my hand that held you up, even when you had already let go of your faith. You're not as weak as you think. You're just tired. And being tired is not a sin, nor is it weakness. It's human. That's why I'm here, to remind you that resting in me is allowed. You don't have to handle everything alone. You don't have to conquer everything by your own strength. Sometimes, the greatest act of faith isn't to keep fighting. It's to allow yourself to be taken care of. Will you let me take care of you? That question might sound strange, but you struggle so much with letting go of control, don't you? You trust up to a point, but when you feel you're losing your grip on things, you panic. And in that panic, you try to solve everything alone. Fix what's beyond your strength. Hold on to people who no longer want to stay. Rebuild castles with trembling hands. And you get frustrated. And you get hurt. Then you think it's punishment, when really it's just too much self-reliance. You weren't created to walk without me. And I haven't left you. You only pulled away trying to be too strong. But here's the truth. Your strength is revealed when you recognize your weakness. When you admit you can't, I can for you. When you bow, I lift you up. When you cry, I cleanse you from within. And it's in that place of surrender that healing begins. Not superficial healing, merely emotional, but the healing of the soul, the kind that transforms from the inside out. Today, I want to heal this loneliness, not by ripping it out carelessly, but by teaching you to see that you don't need to feed it anymore. It can exist, but it doesn't have to control you. And if it insists on returning, remember, loneliness isn't the absence of people, but the absence of meaning. And whoever has divine presence finds meaning even in the silence. Stop running from yourself. Pause for a few minutes and ask, what am I really trying to escape? because as long as you run from pain, it'll run alongside you. But when you hand me your pain, it starts losing its power over you. And I'm not scared of your broken pieces. I don't turn away from your doubts, nor am I surprised by your flaws. I am God, yet I draw near as a father, as a friend, as a refuge, as the one who doesn't demand perfection but truth. And if your truth today is, I'm wounded, God, that's where I begin my work. Do you remember the last time you felt truly seen? That rare feeling of being understood without needing to explain everything? That's what I want to give you. A relationship without performance. A constant presence. A love that doesn't change its mind. You don't need to wait for anything else to return to me. You don't need to be better. You don't need to fix everything first. You only need to be honest. Because I already know everything. I just want to hear from your lips that you still want me near. And if you still doubt, listen carefully. I never stopped loving you. Not even once. Not in your worst moments. Not on the days you felt filthiest, farthest, most lost. My love has no shadow of change. It's the same yesterday, today, and it will be tomorrow. And it still covers you now. Lift up your eyes, breathe again, and tell yourself, if you can, I am not alone. I never have been. God is still with me. That's the truth that breaks the lies the world taught you. That's the truth that restores. That's the truth I came to remind you of. Have you ever looked in the mirror and not recognized yourself? Run your fingers across your own face, trying to find traces of who you used to be? Sometimes it feels like you got lost along the way. The light in your eyes was replaced by a quiet fog. Your desires withered. Your dreams seemed far too distant. And worst of all, you got used to living like that. But I haven't, because I still see in you what you can't. I still call you by your true name, even when you only see yourself by the labels pain gave you. Weak, failure, useless, invisible. None of these names came from me. I never saw you as a mistake or a burden. From the beginning, I formed you with eternity in mind. You are not what they said you were, not what your traumas tried to make you. You aren't defined by the moments you fell or by the places where you were rejected. You are the work of my hands. You carry within you the essence of something sacred, even if it's covered by life's dust. You know what hurts me? Seeing you believe the lies the world whispered in your ear, lies you collected over time as if they were truths, lies that said you weren't enough, that you weren't loved, that no one would miss you if you disappeared. And you believed them. Maybe you still do, quietly. But today, I want to topple those lies with a single phrase. You are mine. And that changes everything. Being mine means your story isn't left to chance, that your pain isn't being ignored, that your worth isn't measured by how many applaud you or how many forget you. Being mine means you are seen by eyes that never grow tired of you, that never compare you to anyone else, that don't demand you fake strength all the time. Do you realize who you are when you see yourself through my eyes? I see someone who has endured more than anyone knows. Someone who was abandoned, but kept going. Someone who had to appear strong so as not to worry others. Someone who swallowed fears and insecurities to protect those they loved. Someone who cried softly so they wouldn't seem weak. Someone who wanted to disappear, but stayed. That to me is courage. It's faith in the form of resilience. No, you're not weak. You're a warrior, you're a survivor. And more than that, you are loved with a love that doesn't depend on performance. I am not with you only when you're fine. I'm especially there when you're not, when you can't get out of bed, when you feel insufficient, when all you wanted was for someone to say, I'm here and I'm not leaving. Well, that's what I'm saying now. I am here and I'm staying. It doesn't matter what was done to you. What matters is what I can do from here on out. And what I can do is transform, give new meaning, restore what seemed impossible, you will still be surprised. There will still be days of genuine peace. You will still feel authentic joy. You will look in the mirror and see beauty in the reflection. Not out of vanity, but out of freedom. Because when a soul is touched by me, even your eyes change. Even your body feels lighter. Have you noticed how even at your lowest, something within you kept you going? A nearly invisible but firm thread, preventing you from collapsing entirely? That thread is what I call my hand. And if you've been upheld up to now, why do you think I'd let you go now? Just because it's hard? I am God. Nothing that's hard for you is impossible for me. Today I want to remind you of what you carry. You are a house of promises. You are the answer to ancient prayers. You are an essential piece in a plan far beyond your understanding. Do not see yourself as leftover or as a mistake in the journey. You are exactly where I can reach and transform you. The storm around you wasn't meant to drown you, but to reveal that you still know how to swim. And if you feel like you're drowning right now, it's because you're trying to do it all in your own strength. Let go. Let me show you how to float in my presence. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just need to let me be all that you can't be right now. You've tried so hard to please, to meet expectations, to fix, to control. But I created you to be, not to live in constant striving. And to be my son, my daughter, is to live in rest. Not that you stop everything, but that you know that even as you move, you are cared for, you are kept, you are guided. And even if you find yourself in a desert is not the end. It's a passage. And I am the God who sustains you in the desert and leads you to the promised land. Today you need to stop seeing yourself as if there's no way out. You have the greatest way out of all, my presence. And when you walk with me, even if you're alone among people, you are never truly alone. I want you to dream again, to believe again, to smile again. But above all, I want you to trust again. Because without trust, love remains distant. And my love is meant to be close, within, right now. So tell yourself in a low voice, I am seen, I am loved, I am cared for. Repeat it until your heart starts to believe it. You can do it silently, but speak to me now. I'm listening. My beloved, you've been living as if locked up inside yourself. No visible chains, but real ones. Repetitive thoughts that convince you you're unworthy. Memories that resurface every time you try to move forward. Old voices you internalized without realizing. You'll never change. No one cares about you. If you were truly loved, things would be different. Words spoken by others, sometimes even by yourself, that became bars around your soul. But I didn't create you to live in captivity. There are things you accepted as normal, but that never came from me. The way you blame yourself for everything, how you take on responsibilities that aren't yours, how you mentally punish yourself for old mistakes. That's not justice. That's self-punishment. And I didn't call you to live in guilt. I called you to live in grace. You weren't called to drag around invisible chains, but to walk in true freedom. But for that, you need to let me show you the truth. The truth is that you still carry wounds that should have been surrendered a long time ago. Wounds you've turned into your identity. Wounds that, over time, you started to protect as if they were part of who you are. But you're not your pain. You're far more than what hurt you. And as long as you keep feeding that wound, it'll stop other parts of your life from blooming. How many times have I tried to touch that? How many times have I taken you to places where you could release it, but you resisted? Not out of malice, I know, but out of fear. Fear of being vulnerable. Fear of messing with something that's been locked away for too long. Fear of losing the little stability you have left. But let me tell you this, you won't collapse. You'll be rebuilt. What you call fragility, I call fertile soil, because it's in brokenness that I plant the new. It's in the fall that I grow deeper roots. It's when everything seems out of control that I have room to act. But you must let me in. I don't invade what you don't surrender. I don't force open doors you still lock from the inside. I knock, but you're the one who opens. And if today you'll allow me into that dark room in your soul, I promise there will be light. Maybe not instantly, but eventually. And not a fake light that only conceals. I mean light that warms from within, that banishes the shadows, that illuminates paths you never thought you'd walk again. You've gotten used to surviving, but I want to teach you how to live. You've gotten used to settling for emotional crumbs, shallow relationships, heavy silences, but I created you for depth, for fullness, for communion. Even if the world gave you less than you deserved, I can still give you all you need. But to do that, you'll have to make a choice. Stop running from yourself. Look inside, with courage, with honesty, not judgment, but compassion. You've been doing the best you can with what you have. But now, I want to give you more. I want to free you from repeating cycles, from emotional patterns that imprison you, from decisions born of fear instead of faith, from thoughts that sabotage you before you even try. How many times have you stopped dreaming because you thought it wasn't meant for you? How many doors did you never knock on because you thought, I don't deserve it? That's not me speaking. That's the voice of rejection, of shame, of self-sabotage. But today I'm teaching you to recognize those voices and not to obey them anymore. The only voice you need to follow is mine. And mine says, you are my child. You have worth. You have a future. You have a seat at my table. You have a place in my arms. You have a role in my story. And no mistake, no abandonment, no wound can erase that. Today I want to remind you that the key to your freedom is closer than you think. It lies in genuine repentance, yes, but also in accepting my forgiveness, in the courage to say, I can't do this alone, and then letting me lead from there. You will still laugh at the things that make you cry today. You'll look back and say, I was healed. You'll be amazed at the peace that will dwell where there's now war. You'll see people come into your life, not to use you, but to walk with you. And when that happens, you'll know it was God. It was me. Because you allowed me in. You might be in a dark place right now. But hear this. No darkness is too dark for me. I am the light. And where I enter, everything changes. Don't be afraid to open up. Don't be afraid to surrender. Don't be afraid to start over. Today, take a few minutes and ask yourself, what pain haven't I surrendered to God yet? What lie am I still believing about myself? Offer this up in silent prayer if you like. I'm listening. My child, you've come this far thinking you were at the brink of the end. But in truth, you're at the brink of a new beginning. Everything inside you says you can't take much more. Your strength is running out. Your faith isn't what it used to be. Your heart is tired of hoping and getting disappointed. I know each of those feelings because I've been with you in every second of pain and doubt. But today, I want you to know, you're not on the edge of falling. You're on the edge of being lifted up. You don't notice it yet, but something has already started to change inside you from the moment you listened to me with an open heart. I'm already stirring the waters within, removing the debris from your soul, reviving the hope you'd forgotten was there. And now, it's time for me to remind you of who you truly are. You are not the sum of what they did to you. You are not the reflection of your mistakes. You are not doomed to repeat your parents' pain. You are the reflection of my love. You are the living expression of an eternal promise. You are more than your failures, more than your fears, more than the no's you've heard. You are mine. And if you are mine, you are heir to all I've prepared. Heirs don't beg for affection, nor chase after approval. Heirs hold their heads high, even with hearts still in the process of healing. Heirs know the Father takes care of everything, even what they don't understand. You weren't born to crawl through life emotionally. You weren't born to remain on alert, trying to predict when you'll be hurt again. That's what trauma did to you. But I didn't call you to scrape by on crumbs. I called you to experience abundance of love, peace, and meaning. But for that, you must leave the position of a victim and return to your position as a child. Children know they are loved, and even when they don't feel it, they trust. Even when they don't see it, they keep going. Even when it hurts, they remain. And that's what you're going to relearn: how to live as one who belongs. As someone who has a father, as someone who has shelter, even when the world seems to collapse. You are not alone, nor are you without direction. You are being guided, though you may not yet see the whole path. The next step will appear when you trust enough to rise up. And yes, getting up hurts. It hurts because your legs are weak. It hurts because your body got used to being bent over. It hurts because your soul got attached to the ground. But you weren't born to remain prostrate. There comes a time when you have to stand, not out of pride or sheer willpower, but out of spiritual decision. You've cried, you've broken, you've gone silent. Now it's time to rise. I'm not sending you into battle without giving you weapons. I'm reminding you that you are the weapon. Your life, your voice, your story, all carry power. And if you thought you'd lost your usefulness, you're wrong. The greatest victories come from those who almost gave up but decided to try once more. You're being called to live, not just exist. To restore, not just endure. To make an impact, not just be ignored. There are people who will find healing when they hear your story. Hearts that will ignite just by seeing you still standing. Places that will be filled with peace simply because you bring something greater than you realize. You are stronger than you think, not by your own might, but because of who holds you up. And that's why I'm here to remind you, it doesn't end here. It doesn't end in abandonment. It doesn't end in betrayal. It doesn't end in failure. Because where the world sees a period, I see a comma. Where you see a desert, I see preparation. Where you see loneliness, I see an opportunity for closeness with me. You will smile freely again. You will love without fear. You will wake up without heaviness. You will thank yourself for not giving up. And you will understand that everything you're going through now is not punishment. It's a calling, a separation, a refining. It's God saying, I love you too much to let you live beneath what I've prepared for you. Now I need you to believe, not with an emotional faith, the kind that depends on your mood, but with a determined faith that says, even if I don't feel it, I will trust. Even if I'm afraid, I will walk. Even if I'm crying, I will surrender. You're not alone, you never were. But now more than ever, I want to show you what happens when you start living out that truth. So ask yourself honestly, what's been keeping me from standing up? Give that to me now. I'm here. I always have been. Have you noticed how some scars speak louder than words? How certain looks say everything, even in silence? Indeed. The world needs what you carry. The world needs what you survived. The pain you thought would be your prison was actually the field where I planted something eternal. I'm not saying it was easy or fair. I know exactly how much it cost. I know you had nights without ground under your feet, days without a voice, mornings when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. But still, you came. You kept going. You're here, and that's already a miracle. And now I tell you, what almost destroyed you will become what lifts others. Someone is waiting to hear precisely your story. Someone will believe again because they see you starting over. Someone will choose to live because they see you choosing life. And it doesn't have to be with pretty words or preaching. Just be who you are, with truth, presence, and authenticity. Because when a heart is healed by me, it carries healing in its gestures, in its embrace, in its eyes. You have more influence than you think. You don't need a stage, you just need to be whole. And even when you're not fully whole, it's possible to be useful in the process. You don't have to wait to be ready to start bearing fruit. My power is perfected precisely in weakness. And I chose you not in spite of your pain, but through it. Some people will never set foot in a church, but they'll meet heaven simply by looking at you, because you are a living letter, living testimony that there is a God who doesn't abandon us halfway. Your life will become shelter for those going through the same storms you survived. But for that, you must accept this calling. It's not a religious calling, it's not a burden, it's not a demand. It's a revelation. You have a purpose. And that purpose is bigger than your failures, bigger than your story, bigger than your fears. Purpose is not about perfection. It's about obedience. It's about taking one step at a time, even without knowing it all. You will still be amazed at what I will do through you. You'll see doors open where there were only walls. You'll hear people say, "I felt peace around you." And it won't be about pride, it will be confirmation. Because where a heart restored by me dwells, there is presence, there is light, there is transformation. You've tried to hide your scars as if they were flaws, when in fact, they're medals of survival. They're proof that hell tried, but couldn't succeed. They're living memories of grace being greater. Now, I want you to stop being ashamed of what you went through. I want you to use that experience to help up those who've fallen, just like you once did. Remember when you thought there was no way out? Now you are the way out that others look for. You became the answer. You're living proof of my faithfulness. But to live this out, you need to take a stand. Not with shouts, not with brute force, but with a decision. Every day you'll have to decide, I will not return to the place of pain. I will not accept the lies that bound me. I will not live as if I'm a mistake. And I'll be with you in each of those decisions, strengthening you, guiding you, reminding you that you are called to more. I want to restore your identity. I want you to walk with lightness, with dignity, with the certainty that you matter. Because you do. You have a worth that can't be measured by human standards. You have a light that even the deepest darkness can't extinguish. You're not alone, and you'll never again walk as if you were. And if the world tries to make you forget that, remember what we're building here. Remember what I'm telling you now. Keep this message as you'd keep a map, because on the dark days, it will guide you back to me. Your journey matters. Your steps are noticed. Your stumbles are understood. All of it is part of a story being written by my own hands. You will still be grateful for the battles. You will still say, it was worth not giving up. You will still smile with a joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. You will still wake up knowing you're living exactly what you were born to live. And when that happens, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember that loneliness was merely the soil where I planted your mission. Now take a deep breath and say to yourself, I have a purpose. My pain has meaning. God will still use me. Say it, even if it feels strange. Declare it, because what you declare in faith, heaven confirms in power. You heard my voice, and even without understanding everything, something inside you started to align. It's as if your heart, after wandering lost in dead-end streets, finally found its way home. That's exactly what's happening. You are returning. Not just to a faith, not to a religion. You're returning to me. And here, where everything began, I don't receive you with demands. but with open arms. You went through so much just trying to survive, trying to please, to belong, to find a place in the world. But now it's time to find that place in Maine. Because here, you don't need to pretend, don't need to explain, don't need to prove anything. Here you are seen, known, loved exactly as you are. The loneliness that followed you no longer rules over you. It might still try to come back as a memory or a shadow. But now you know, you were never alone. Not in the silent days, not in the nights when you had no more tears to cry, not in the times you tried to forget me. I was there, I'm still here, and I will be with you in every tomorrow to come. But today, beyond restoring, I came to activate you. Because now that you know you are loved, that you are seen, that you have a purpose and carry something eternal, it's time to live it out. It's time to step out of your emotional hiding place. It's time to let the light I put in you shine. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. The world is tired of masks, tired of people preaching what they don't practice, tired of superficiality. But a heart that's restored, sincere, and willing, that changes the atmosphere. And that heart is the one you're rediscovering today. Yes, you'll still face hard days. You'll still feel fear. You'll still want to pull back. But now you know where to find shelter. Now you know the voice that calls you by your true name. Now you have an eternal reminder. You are a child of the Most High. And children don't live like slaves. You're not a slave to pain, not a slave to fear, not a slave to the past, not a slave to people's opinions. You have been set free by a love that doesn't demand perfection, only surrender. If today, after all, you're willing to surrender again, even without seeing the whole path, I promise, I will guide you in peace. You won't walk alone anymore, not emotionally, not spiritually, because from now on, my presence will be more than comfort. It will be your direction. You'll hear my voice in unlikely places. You'll sense my care in the small details of your day. You'll realize I'm in the simple things, in someone's hug, in the morning sky, in the reminder of an old promise still standing. You'll understand that spirituality is not an effort. It's a reunion. Your life will come into alignment. Pieces will start to fit, and everything that seemed like a loss will gain meaning. Because I'm the God who turns tears into seeds and deserts into bridges to a new time. But remember, it doesn't depend on what you feel. It depends on where you decide to place your steps. If you choose to walk with me, even slowly, even fearfully, I will take you beyond anything you ever imagined. You're not alone. You never were, and you never will be. When the world forgets to say good morning, heaven will sing over you. When no one notices your pain, my spirit will comfort you. When the future looks dark, my hand will light your next step. And even if everything around you says otherwise, may the truth I planted in you be stronger. You belong. You have worth. You have a destiny. Now that you know it, live like someone who's been found. Walk like someone who has a father. Speak like someone who carries light. Embrace like someone who's already been embraced by heaven. Because today, I, your God, finished writing another chapter with you, and I can't wait for the next ones. Don't forget, I am with you until the very end. Take a deep breath now, stay silent for a few seconds, and just say, thank you for never leaving me. Let that be your prayer, your strength, your truth. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone else who needs to hear, you're not alone. May the love that has sustained you until now continue guiding you from here on out. I am with you, I am for you, and I love you forever. Amen.